Welcome everybody to a special segment of 90 Second Cinema that we are calling 90 Second Selects. In this segment, we are going to be taking a short film by an independent creative and analyzing all the amazing things that filmmakers can do with limited time, space, and resources.
In this episode, we're going to be analyzing the short film Topical Cream by writer, director, actor Aaron Latta-Morisette.
You may recognize Aaron from HBO's popular film Slave Play. Not a movie, a play.
So we're going to put a link down below so you can check out that short film before watching this video. There will be spoilers, so please go watch that first. Get out of here.
Go.
Go away.
Go on,
We don't want you here, but only for 9.5
then
minutes.
come back.
Yes.
Then come back.
Please come back.
No, well, yeah, exactly, no. And I think that's the entire issue. I just can't find someone who's my intellectual peer.
Like right away, you know he's a dick.
Alexa, I'm home.
Great writing.
It's so
So
good.
I spent all this energy trying to make this awkward first day beach date thing the least awkward and the least like hinge datey that it can possibly be. She's just going on and on and on about like the rainforest and migration patterns.
And then we
all
start
this
to
shit,
see
and it
more
dawns
of
on me,
like who he actually
she
is. Like
literally
Yeah,
jumped around
some
into sort of
misogynistic, like,
in which case,
yeah,
I'm
some misogynistic posters.
I'm not just
right
looking
there.
for
Yeah.
sex. That's the whole thing we're talking about. I'm trying to find something more, you know? I want something stimulating. I want someone that I can learn from, someone that I can be challenged by, you know, grow with. Great.
Good cue.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
A little bit of an inciting incident, right? He's
Yeah.
got sunburn.
I need to break out of this cycle.
You know who really needs to break out?
That's great. Great color
Yeah,
differentials.
the contrast is so nice.
You know, in a way that almost kind of sets up this whole like two opposing
Yeah,
points of view
absolutely.
part of the narrative that, you know, is pretty much
like that
you already know that that's going to be a part of this film, like just from the color
Yeah,
of the
the
lighting
choice of
itself.
colors
so
and space, yeah.
Yeah, so just, you know, if you're making your short film, just these small little subtle color cues like goes a long way. You know?
Those poor children.
What the fuck?
At the border. In cages. Ow! Wow, way to drop me on my ass after I just
Oh,
opened
another
up.
great frame right here.
Yeah, it says so much about the character, you know? It might not seemingly, but like it's disgusting, it's dirty.
Yeah, it's like
know?
you know, this guy who claims to be educated is now, you know, he's leaving pennies and scraps of toilet paper on his, you know, on his bathroom floor, you know? Yeah, very, very good staging choice there.
Wait, is that a pube? Anyway, what they're doing to those kids is horrifying. Thank God that monster's finally out of the White House, but you know, who knows what'll happen come next election. Oh my God, here I go, rambling again. I am so sorry. What is your name?
Jamie?
Oh my God, gender neutral. I love it. So, Jamie, do you think that kids should have to say under God when reciting the Pledge of Allegiance every morning? I mean, putting aside the fact that every date on our calendar is in direct relation to the time of Christ.
Oh, that's interesting. Her voice.
Yeah, he pulls it out of the soundtrack.
Yeah, very great audio choice right
Yeah.
there. So it's all really about him. It's how
Jamie.
he is viewing.
Yeah, how he's
Jamie, stop
processing.
staring at me and tell me what you think. I want to hear your opinion.
You?
And this right here, like this is such a good
hear my
choice.
opinion?
Everything up until this point was, you know, a static shot. And then finally the camera moves with Jamie as he realizes this person wants to hear what he has to say. It's like he didn't really perk up in the conversation, and that's reflected until she said, you know, what is your opinion? And so the camera like reflects that.
100%, 100%. And it's also, in addition to the camera move, what we're also seeing here is that he's still lit at very high contrast. So, you know, oh, this is a great thing. You want to hear my opinion. I'm so happy to find somebody who likes me, but also you visually see that there's a darker side of this small victory, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is honestly, I think, what is true to, I guess, the concept of what is and isn't cinematic is these deliberate choices that you make in your filmmaking.
Want to hear my opinion?
Obviously.
I mean, pay to play is essentially like, if you can't afford to support yourself while working for free, at companies with enough revenue to feed Indonesia, by the way, like, you can't even get started.
I know. It's like, oh, thank you so much for giving me a job, even though you don't pay me any money, and I'm making you all of the money.
Yes, exactly. The bottom line is whether you're talking about black lives
He's rubbing the fucking cream on himself.
these groups were established to raise the oppressed to equal status, not drag anyone
Again,
else
though,
down.
but that
Without
builds into this ego.
People
Yeah,
This
yeah.
ego that
the
we're
system
seeing
in
this
which the
character
scale isn't
represent.
tipped in
It's like
their
he's
favor.
patting himself on the
mention cancel
back,
culture.
or she's inflating his ego.
100%.
You better mention it right now.
I've never met anyone like you before.
Me neither.
Oh, all like those rom-com moments, right?
Exactly,
Like,
yeah. Such a brilliant choice.
oh yeah, I mean right here, right? Like,
Yeah. So the idea of putting the focus all on him is just, it's so great because it says, you know, they might be having fun together, but it's really about how much fun he's having.
Yeah. And that's just, I mean, and again, that's a very small thing that doesn't require a budget whatsoever. It's just
Yeah.
like, hey, who's the main character? It's Jamie, and is he egocentric? Yes, let's put him in focus.
It's like the whole film revolves around him.
Revolves
It's
around
like
his
the
mindset. It's all a
the
reflection
cinematic
of his
world
mindset.
revolves around him. You know?
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, having racial, sexual, and even gender-specific criteria in the Oscar qualifications simply pushes for a positive cultural impact to be made.
Okay, give the job to the best
Oh, did you
person,
notice that?
right?
Did you notice that right here? If I'm not mistaken, this is the first shot that they are having a small disagreement.
Yeah.
And they're staged, he's facing one way.
Right.
And she's facing
I know,
another
it's
way.
like
Yeah.
they're on opposing sides.
Yeah,
of the issue.
very smart choice right
Yeah,
there.
it's so clever.
If that person happens to be straight and white, well,
Okay, you
They're
don't need to
like
get all
puzzle
worked up.
pieces
based
that
on
really
your
Puzzle
don't
pieces
fit
aren't fitting,
together,
yeah.
you know?
in the world should have to like post a detailed synopsis of their set list before getting in front of a microphone.
Well, yeah, because if it stops even one person from having their PTSD or anxiety triggered, then I don't see what the harm is.
Art isn't meant to please every person that's exposed to it. A. And B, why put preconceived
And by the
notions
way,
on-
it's so interesting that they're, the choice just to have this conversation taking place over an activity as opposed to just taking place.
Yeah, absolutely, you know?
It just stretches the story just a little bit more creatively, which is
Yeah,
which is
it
really
gives you
great.
something more to look at, and if you're doing like a basic dialogue scene, giving them something to do during that scene to just add a little bit of visual interest that also adds something to the story. It just goes such a long way.
Absolutely.
about my performance into the minds of an audience while also ridding myself of one of the greatest gifts in comedy, shock value.
Wow.
That bit where he like
you know
throws
what?
the
Spoken
pieces,
like a
it just
true privileged cis man who's never experienced any real trauma.
kind of animates
If you
how
let
he's
me
feeling.
finish, you'd know that I personally just do not feel comfortable having sex at that point.
Okay, so what if a girl simply doesn't enjoy giving oral? You're saying she should just consent anyways just to make you happy?
No, you don't have to
No,
do
you
it.
are
And
saying
I don't have to have sex
They're on a
with you.
bed, by the way.
You're
Another great
overcharged
staging
and
choice.
wow.
Yeah, it's so good.
Can't listen to this anymore.
Tell me how that's not feminist.
And now we're seeing all those moments again, but like,
But again, like oh no way, the Cream album. That's so funny. Okay, but no, like you had a good point where you're seeing all these, it's kind of like reprising everything we saw, but now you're seeing the detrimental,
the harsh reality where they're not really having a good time.
Yeah, that's great. And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like this has been like an hour. That
Yeah,
like
it's
this,
it's all happening like over the course of like an hour.
which is so. But I think because of all our preconceived notions of like romantic comedies and how you were used to seeing people kind of fall in love over the course of like weeks, months,
Right.
all that yada yada. You know, in our head we're kind of connecting the dots, and we're like, oh, wait a minute, this is taking place over the course of like 3 days, but it's still dark outside, and it's like, you know, it's like still the same night.
It feels like much bigger than it actually is. It feels sprawling, but it's like it's just an hour.
Very, very creative manipulation of time, which is really funny.
Okay. I don't know what I
cream.
said to make you act like this, and frankly, I don't know if it's your time of the month or your expiration date or what, but you're acting like a bitch, and I don't know how to handle you when you're being like
Open
this.
your eyes, Jamie. You are so alone that you are fabricating relationships with inanimate objects. You know, you think that paying for meals and not disliking Greta Gerwig makes you the saving grace to all womankind, but it doesn't. You are nothing but a sad, misogynistic, scared little boy who is incapable of seeing the world in any way that doesn't benefit his minuscule little...
This shot is really great in that it, you know, it conveys a lot, where you're still seeing in the background the sort of juvenile, you know, amusements of this character, like the, you know, the naked women on the skateboard, and then you contrast that to the loneliness and isolation that the rest of the frame kind of traps this character in. It really says so much.
Yeah, and really, I mean, like, again, his hands are still on her, so it's kind of like it's completely his own fault. And
it's much like that poster that he shows in the beginning of the film.
Of the man silencing that all completely silhouetted man silencing the woman.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just good visual storytelling.
A lot of great callbacks to visual elements of the film, which is really
it's so tight. It's such a tightly scripted, such a tightly directed.
Tightly staged, I would.
Tightly staged, yeah.
This little fantasy moment, another rom-com callback.
Hey, you okay in there, brother?
Hello?
Over here, buddy! We've always got your back, Jamie. Even if you're incapable of taking in other people's opinions, we still love you!
Really? I don't know about all that, but listen, it's great to fill your head,
all the
Jamie,
voices are
but you
male.
can't use
You know what I'm
that
saying?
as a
Kind
way
of
to
retreating
confuse
back
people.
into
Now listen,
his
our
male-centric
greatest challenge as human
perspective,
being and bathroom item alike is to learn to listen to other people's points of views. Who knows? Maybe we might learn something.
Yeah, you said it. You keep growing.
And I'm a big fucking thing of hand soap.
another rom-com coming back, kind of begging for reconciliation, right?
Hey. I'm sorry about the way I acted back there. I shouldn't get so aggressive and defensive just because we disagree on certain key issues. I will try to be more receptive to your insight. Are we okay? Hello?
That's my boy. There he is.
Oh,
Guys!
fantastic subversion of expectation there.
Right, you know?
Because she didn't take him back.
No.
Well, because he didn't deserve it.
The director isn't letting this character off the hook. You know?
Yeah.
It's like it's not a happy ever after. It's,
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's something that you see in short films a lot. Short films, any films, you just kind of let characters off too easy.
Yeah,
You're kind of like,
absolutely.
oh, they do something really bad, and then here's the you know, they are able to magically reconcile with whoever
Right,
regardless
regardless
they
of
hurt.
yeah, regardless of the gravity of their actions, you know, there's often this tendency to either let characters off the hook or leave their actions and the consequences of those actions completely unexamined.
Yeah. It's
And-
interesting. I'm curious where. Hang on, let's go back here for a sec.
That's my boy.
It also goes back to hanging with the bros. You know?
Not now.
Again, retreating into his, you know, small-minded worldview, you know?
Hi. I'm Jamie. I live here.
Nice to finally chat, baby. My name's Sarah. Sarah V.
Do you have any opinions about the Ukraine?
The machine they use to make buildings.
Perfect.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
That's so good.
that's a great film right there. I was like,
Fantastic, yeah.
I think to what we were just saying, not letting a character off the hook, and then all of a sudden you're just left alone completely. And we see so many instances of him being left alone within the frame, like towards the end. But now you're actually seeing that his loneliness is going to persist.
Yeah, right. It's just, he's doomed to repeat himself. He says at the beginning, I have to break the cycle, but he does nothing to break that cycle. He continues to, behave the way he's going to behave, doesn't want to change really.
Yeah.
And so he's just doomed to keep doing it again and again. Well, thank you so much, Aaron, for sending your short film in. We absolutely loved it.
And if you want to see your own short film reviewed by us, please leave a link to it below down in the comments.
And if you're selected, you'll get a really cool laurel that looks like this.
Or like this. See you later, everybody. Keep making films.